So, good morning. So there's a couple of questions here about expanding this out. Let's go ahead and talk about ways to grow this or to further expand it. Now, what I would actually initially recommend is to go into Inkscape and adjust this. I'm going to show you the QCAD way, which is not as ideal, mind you, but something you can do is individually. Now I'm holding Shift, but I'm individually adjusting out these letters so that we can, and then reconnect that with that, pull this back here. You know, there are ways to go through and actually manually adjust these things so they don't turn out to be an issue. Looks like I have a little bit of a problem over here. And that's a focal point for this line. Let's click on that, draw that over. There we go. Now I've successfully widened out that line a little bit. However, there is a little bit of a disconnect right here. So I just want to bring that down to there and bring that down to there so that it comes out. Might want to increase it just a hair. Okay, that's a little bit smoother. And again, you can do that individually for each letter, and that would work. We would be able to do that. However, I would recommend if you're going to be doing things like this, now this file has a bunch of these little extras on here. I don't know what they're there for, but figured I'd let you know. The way that I would do this is actually in Inkscape. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up in Inkscape. I just pull it up instead, remove fill, stroke paint, reduce. Alright, we're going to increase this so I can see what's going on. Okay, so there are a couple little problems I want to adjust. Oh, hello. Individual lines here. What's going on? Alright, looks like, okay. We're going to select all of y'all. We're going to vector all of you. And then we're just going to go like this. This is just combining them. I don't know if you did it in Inkscape or in QCAD, but edit, select all, and then do that. Perfect. All right. Just making a couple small adjustments to this file while I'm dealing with it. It's going to process through this. We're going to give it a second. Alright, so we stepped away for just a moment and it did process all of it. We're going to make a couple of small adjustments here. I don't like the location there. Alright, and come back over here. I don't like this location here. Awesome. Alright, so let's talk about cutting these out. Now we do still have those same weird dots sitting over here, sitting over here. Here's a simple way to expand these letters out. So what you would do is double click on this outside vector, path dynamic offset. Cool thing with dynamic offset, it'll leave you a node somewhere on your file. All you have to do is pull up and it actually expands out the letter. Now, you have to be careful with how far you do this, but it is definitely an option for you. So, again, you can do that, or you can even go back through here, and now that you have individual pieces, just pop this back. Ooh, hello. Let's go like this. You can actually pull it back if necessary. Again, not the most ideal, but you'll have to manually adjust it. There is no magic button that actually fixes that for you. But again, I'm just showing you options here. You can select a couple lines here. Whoop. 1, 2, and 3. Just a hair, like so, and then click off of it. Move this line in order to make it a better point right there. Boom. And there we go. We've expanded out that line for the cut. However, for the sake of actually being able to do anything with this, what I'm going to have to do is add a slot to here, which you would use the same process you used earlier. The only difference being, since these two are not connected, I would select one, hold shift, select the outside that it's supposed to connect to, go path, difference. Now I can actually cut it out for instance. 1 hit, 2, path, difference, and done. That's if I was cutting it out of something. If I'm just trying to cut this as its own line, or as its own piece, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. The one piece I would have to worry about is getting rid of those guys. I'm going to delete them because you have a copy back at yours, and again, I just want to make sure. Now the other piece, you can even come through, scale this down like so. And same thing with this one, just scale it down like so. Now, if you missed any of this or want me to go over any specific process I'm doing here, feel free to reach out and I can go over it, but for the time being I'm just going over a generic sort of walkthrough on how to do this, with the assumption that there are some things in place that allow you to, I don't like the shape of this. Sorry, I'm going slightly ADD OCD on this thing because I just don't like the shape 100%. Alright, a little bit better. Regardless, that's how I would fix these things. Give it a shot. If you find that you want to change things around, you can individually change out these parts in order to get it to shape the way that you want it to shape. Like, I prefer that shape right there instead because it flows better with the entire piece. Again, yeah, you'll have to forgive me hopping around as I'm trying to fix this. It's just me looking at the piece, noticing specific aspects of the piece and going, you know what, we probably need to do blank and blank. As a designer, you'll sit down and make quite a few small adjustments to this system. There we go. Overlapping one over the other and then going path union so that I keep that letter there. Because I'm operating under the assumption that I'm going to cut this all out as a single sign as opposed to any other way. Look at that. So now I go to cut it and I'm going to get nice, clean, crisp letters. And I'll have enough internal space for the details. And let's just double check that. Good way to check for details is this one. Ooh, we're going to go like this. Ooh, what are you doing? All right, I don't know what you're doing. All right. Let's take a look at that. So this is over 1/8 of an inch. Perfect. Internally, this is over 1/8 of an inch, absolutely. Some of our finer details, let's scooch over here. Again, internal details, that's over 1/8 of an inch again. So we'll be able to, the only limitation that you'll have like this is actually about a little over a 1/16 of an inch, around a 1/16 of an inch. So when it does come and make its cut around, it will be able to do it because it's on the outside. Now if it was cutting internally, we may see some problems, but if we're cutting this from the outside, then we won't. So it depends on how you want to do it, but keep that in mind as you're designing. I'm treating this as a standalone sign with just letters. If you're popping this out of something, it's a different problem altogether, but again, follows the same rules for sizing. Yeah, so I will leave you to do that. If you have questions, shoot me a call.